Basically here to do a weekend recap over the Premier League games. The Premier League has officially started, and we had Man City vs Burnley, of course, but they won 3-0, right?
Yeah, 3-0.
Then we had Newcastle versus Villa. Oh man, those guys trashed Villa. It was 5-1, right?
5-1.
5-1. And then we had Arsenal, of course. We played versus Nottingham Forest. Of course, we won 2-1. Just actually played very, very, very well. It's a team that probably maybe you can somehow say, but this season they probably might also be in the top four. Not compete as of yet, but definitely they should be able to be the top four. Because even if you look at this,
but one thing I don't like about Chelsea is they're spending a lot of money, and I don't understand why they are not being put on red alert for FFP. Because if you look
now, let's move now to the game that was played yesterday. Man U
versus Wolves.
Quite an interesting game that they talk about, because even if you look at the videos, check out these videos over here, but they are like,
so ulikuwa na expect ligi imeanza na Arsenal wako na ile kerere yao nakuaga nayo. Si ulikuwa na expect wapige hata vijana bao 10. So Arsenal wamejaribu, lakini inafaa jikaze. Kama ndio game wako nao na wanaenda kucheza Champions League, inafaa jikaze, si uongo. Angalia timu kama Manchester, timu yangu tuko na game Monday, unaona? Na hiyo game tutacheza after timu zote zishache. Kwa hiyo sitajua ni wapi tunafaa tufanye nini ndio tukae hapo juu. Unashika takuwa nishajua ilipigana bao fulani. Jisa race ya saini mabao ndio zitakuweka hapo juu, si alphabetical order.
Because no, honestly speaking, but then now let's just speak facts. And a true Man United fan by there who's been supporting Man U by there for quite some time and actually watching football can definitely confess that the standards have really dropped. And it's for lack of a better term, it's a bittersweet moment in the sense that it's disappointing by the way to see such a big club go that direction. But these guys first of all need to accept the fact that they're no longer the big club anymore. They still have this. These guys still have the Ferguson.
They think it's Fergie. They need to build a real project.
Exactly.
You cannot build a project around players like Diogo Dalot. Someone like. I think the Man U squad right now, there's a lot of challenges they have, especially at the front there. You spend big money, you sign Anthony for, it was like 70 million. He's not performing. You cannot build your team around Martial as your center forward. Garnacho, Garnacho yesterday's game, what was Garnacho doing in that game?
Nothing. Completely out of the game.
And then you cannot play Rashford as a center forward. I think Ten Hag should learn that.
Reckless talk. Son of a gifted. Hey, reckless talk. But I got expensive habits. Don't step in salt. I'm a real one, check my fabric.
Yo man, this Dom from Kenya Gunners TV. I'm back again.
It's been a minute, man.
Yeah,
but we are here. And we want to talk about the weekend. Game week 1.
First things first, man. Where have you been, man?
I mean, it's adulting. But yeah, it is what it is. Ukiwa umeanza hii life ya ku adult. Na itapotea but
and if you look at the guy looks like he's from the office, so man. Basically, and it's part of paying the bills. It's good to have you back by this. It's been a minute. We should be doing this often. So basically, man, we are basically here to do a weekend recap over the Premier League games. The Premier League has officially started. We had some quite interesting games, but over the weekend we had Man City vs Burnley, of course, but they won 3-0, right?
3-0.
Then we had Newcastle versus Villa. Oh man, those guys trashed Villa. It was 5-1, right? 5-1.
It was a very beautiful game from Newcastle.
Yeah, very interesting game. I remember that game actually. I didn't watch the whole of it because I was distracted. Well, I remember doing a video as well.
Recording.
And then we had Arsenal, of course. We played versus Nottingham Forest. Of course, we won 2-1. Then you had Chelsea versus Liverpool, which came out as a draw. It was 1 apiece.
And then there was Tottenham with
Tottenham playing Brentford.
Drew 2-2.
They drew 2-2.
And then Man U played yesterday with Wolves. And they won. By luck, I guess.
They won by luck, huh?
Yes.
Anyway, you guys let us know what you think in the comment section by there regarding the games that are played over the weekend. But anyway, the Man City game, by the way, looking at it, I mean, let's just dissect it, by the way, from the scratch. So looking at the Man City game, of course, Haaland scored two goals. Yeah,
It's Haaland, man.
it's Haaland, man. Well, anyway, probably maybe Burnley is new in the Premier League. Maybe they still haven't figured them out. But if you look at the way Man City has been playing in the preseason games, or rather even towards the end of the Premier League last season, even the Champions League, I think most coaches by this are developing a system or finding out how to lock him.
Yeah.
And you see how successful Teta did it in
the Community Shield.
Community Shield.
Yeah.
You see how successful, by the way, the Inter Milan coach did it during the Champions League. Yeah, so probably maybe Burnley is still new by then in the Premier League. They still have things to figure out. But now tell me, man, what did you make of the game?
Well, for me, if we talk about Haaland first, you know, Haaland is a top striker, and that just it, you know.
Yeah.
Haaland is not the type of player that you can say, okay, now I can put Haaland and then I'll expect him to drop deep.
Yeah.
And, you know, I'll expect him to develop the link-up play. You cannot use Haaland the way you use someone like Jesus. You know, Haaland is meant to play at the center forward.
Yeah.
And that is his biggest limitation as a player.
Yeah.
It is a limitation, but at the same time, with the type of player he is,
it's also beneficial.
Yeah, it's beneficial because it can give you many goals.
Yeah.
As long as you give him the service.
Exactly.
Yeah. So for me, in that Man City game, it was purely a tactical advantages that
saw them through.
Yeah, that saw them through. That Pep has, you know, the experience he has over Vincent Kompany, who was his player at Man City, and right now newly promoted, he has not developed that mental strength, that tactical capabilities to go against a team like Man City.
Yeah.
You know, that is now where the game came up to, you know.
Yeah.
Because if it came to, let's say, the physicality and the betterness of the game,
Burnley matched them, by the way.
Yeah, they matched them.
Yeah.
Burnley even had some few chances that they could have tucked in away, put away, and even give Man City some stress, you know.
Yeah.
But then it came back to the tactics, you know. Even the second goal that Haaland scored,
you
saw the assist, that the way he scored the game, he just got the assist,
got a chance.
It was a no-look goal.
Exactly.
He shot because he knows where the goal is. That's Haaland.
That just shows you how sharp that guy is, by the way. He's just a perfectly oiled number 9, by the way.
And with the KDB out, we don't know how long he will be out. You know, Man City, they have a lot of creative midfielders. They have Bernardo Silva, but then, you know, the best person in that position as an attacking midfielder for them, it's KDB. There is no doubt there. You know, KDB is in the debate of GOATs right now.
Exactly.
And they cannot be the GOAT is in that debate because he's that good.
And actually, if you saw, immediately came out, by the way, those guys, the game level just dropped.
Yeah,
game level dropped, by the way. So, like you talked about Haaland actually being a player whereby he's more of like a player who just wants the ball and, you know, he'll get the job done.
Yeah.
But if you watch the game, actually, there's an altercation that he had. In fact, actually, it's been trending on social media, whereby Pep confronted him. Well, guys have been saying it's PR, it's more for the camera, but I feel those are the standards that, you know, but Pep had. Pep, man, came out, man, rambling on the guy, telling him, no, stop this issue, but the very time whining and complaining that you want don't you want the ball supplied to you. Go and get the ball. You know, he kept on shouting at Bernardo Silva that, you know, pass the ball. And, you know, that altercation he had, by the way, that just shows you the standards Pep has. But looking at Man City's game, well, you know, it's too early to judge. It's just the first game, but the level some has dropped. And remember, generally, even just apart from football, everybody's always looking up by there to the guys at the top.
Yeah, that's true.
Being at the top by there is never an easy thing.
And dominating for all these
years. So trust me, by there, several guys have done research on these guys. I don't think by this season is going to be the same. Yes, they're the guys that everybody's looking up to, but this season
going to be a bit different.
It's going to be a bit different, and we just proved it by the Community Shield.
Yeah, they if they do not sign someone else, like they have been linked to Lucas Paqueta, then they might have a lot of trouble, you know, with the kind of midfield they have of Kovacic and Rodri and Bernardo Silva. They will not have that creative outlet, you know, with Gundogan gone. So
Mm.
they need to sign someone else.
Yeah.
Otherwise, KDB might be out for a while.
Mm-hmm.
You know, might be out for, let's say, up to January.
Yeah.
And up to January, if you have other teams like Chelsea, yeah, so teams like Chelsea, Arsenal, Man U,
Mm-hmm.
Liverpool,
Yeah.
if they have that creative advantage
Mm-hmm.
over your team,
Yeah.
then it's over for you. I'm even forgetting Newcastle. You know, Newcastle, they are very creative. They even signed a good midfielder.
Man, that's a team, but that's a team that guys are not been talking about. In fact, even pre-season guys are not been talking about. They have been doing their work by there silently. But trust me, that team by there, I watched their game versus Villa. And you know, Villa is not an easy team. Villa is not an easy team. They finished number what number?
They were sixth.
They were sixth.
Yeah.
And you remember, by the way, they had Unai Emery. By the way,
they qualified for the conference.
Yeah,
cup.
yeah. So with the Man City, now going back to Man City, I definitely think that this season is not going to be quite easy for them, especially now that they have KDB injured. You know, that is one of the most important players. It's just like Arsenal probably as losing Saka or losing Odegaard or Thomas Partey, you know, Saliba, you know, those crucial and very key players by the that, you know, just need in the team. Now going to the second game by the of the week, Arsenal versus Nottingham Forest. I know we've talked about this, but we might as well highlight it again. So Arsenal won 2. It was 2-1 by there to Nottingham Forest. I remember we had a discussion by there towards this game. So if you guys actually watch, I'll share the video by there, the link in the description. Yeah, you can watch this video here, but they had a discussion over the game. But I also share the link in the description. I remember we talked about, we had a debate specifically regarding Kai Havertz. We also equally had a debate by there regarding Arteta trying to emulate Pep. Yeah. So tell me, man. First of all, just reiterate for people by there what you thought of the game. What do you think? What do you now looking at the highlights and yeah.
So for me, coming back after rewatching the highlights of the game, you know, trying to think about the setup of the game, the way we played, the result at the end of the game. The game, the way we started, we dominated the first half.
Yeah.
And the system we tried to play is a different new system, you know. We played with a setup of it was like 3-1-6. Defended with 3. Partey inverted from the right back position as a lone 6. And then we overloaded the front with the 6 people. We had at the wing, we had Saka and Martinelli, who are high and wide. And then at the midfield, we had Havertz, we had Odegaard, and we had Declan Rice. You know, that is now 5 folks in here. And then there was the lone 6, and then Ben White, Timber, and
there was Nketiah as well.
Yeah,
Nketiah as well, but there was
Nketiah in his usual position as a number 9. You know, for me, that setup, looking at it, that was purely for that game against Nottingham, because when you play against a team like Nottingham, the first thing is they do not set up the system to pass the ball, score from the middle, like they opange, like they arrange the game and play some tiki-taka. They set up the game so that they can get you on the counter. Or so that they play a low block or a deep block, whereby they fill the box with 7 guys. If they play 7 guys in their own box, they just wait for a counter. Long ball counter. But then that is what Arteta tried to avoid. You know, with that formation, with an overload of 6 players, you will never know where the goals will come from.
Exactly.
You know, even though the goals came from our usual Saka, you know, Starboy.
Starboy is just something else, man.
But then anybody will have scored in that game. Havertz could have scored. You know, Odegaard the same. The same for Rice. Rice had like 3 shots on target, even one hit the post. You know, so for that setup, I believe that was a bit to get the Steve Cooper off guard. You know, he did not know about the setup. He came up for a deep block, and then found that the system we had, you cannot counter us, and
Yeah.
you cannot put a deep block.
Yeah. So the thing is this, man. I was quite fussy about the game. Of course, most guys were quite fussy about just the way Man U fans were fussy about yesterday's game. But honestly, anyway, we'll get into Man U's game. But they played shit yesterday. Let me just throw that in there.
Yeah.
But the thing is this. I was quite fussy about the game. But now going back and actually just looking at it, I think it's quite a strategic way by they of playing, in the sense that, you know, you want to be unpredictable, and I like the fact that Arteta is, you know, trying to, you know, try new things, and, you know, trying to bring new things. Like, you know, Partey, by the way, most of the games, but Partey never plays at the right back. And if you noticed, actually, immediately, I think Elanga scored. I think when Jiro and Timber got injured, right? He came off. Who came in his position? But just remind me, who came in his position for you? Tomiyasu. Tomiyasu is the one who actually came in his position. And then at that point, I really can't remember well, but there's a point whereby Elanga came in and then, you know, scored.
Elanga came in and it was a counter.
It was a counter.
Yeah.
Immediately, but after some time, he brought in Gabriel. Remember, by the solid defense, by the we always have Saliba, Gabriel, by the
at the center.
At the center.
Of
the center of the center of the defense. But this time we had Partey, White. Actually, Ben White was playing actually the center.
Yeah, as a center back.
As a center back, right? And we had Saliba. Remember, Ben White is always playing by the right back.
Yes.
So immediately, Elanga squad actually saw Gabriel come in.
You know, and then we went to the default system that we use of
exactly.
Back four.
Yeah, of the back four, which is quite strategic and quite smart. The only challenge that, the only reservations probably maybe I might have towards, you know, these setups, if you don't really master it well, by the way, which I hope that it is, you know, as mastered as art, if you get a team that probably knows what they're doing, with a team like Man City, if you're not really sure what you're doing, by the way, trust me, those guys will capitalize on that big time.
Yeah, that's very true.
Yeah, they'll capitalize on that big time. But anyway, we won the game. Guys were quite fussy about it. It's just game one.
So game week one. Come on, guys.
Yeah.
Be patient, you know, and believe in Arteta, you know.
Yeah.
Game week one, the kind of system that Arteta is trying to put in place is wants to come in every game.
Yeah.
With
being unpredictable. Yeah.
Yes, that is the kind of, you know, Man City. The reason why Man City beat us last season 4-1 it was because they knew the kind of game we were going to.
Of course,
play.
yeah, we are so. But then
and they changed the tactics
last season. But they were so predictable
towards the end. Actually.
Towards the end of it, but the guys figured us out, and that's where now I've always said this, man. Everything just crumbled by that time. Yeah. So this season, I think we probably need that unpredictability, whereby, you know, you don't know what to expect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we need more players, you know, with the kind of games that the Arteta might want to play, and the kind of teams we face. You know, some teams will be, let's say, a team like Crystal Palace. the system you lose against a team like Crystal Palace, can probably employ it with a team like, let's say, Bournemouth.
Yeah.
A team like Wolves. You know, you can recycle that kind of system.
Yeah.
But then now, when it comes to big games like Man City, Chelsea, Liverpool, you know, such kind of games, you will need to be tactically better than these other teams. Like a team like Man City, it all comes down to the tactics.
Yeah.
Because right now, the physicality is improving.
Every team is physical by there right now. Yeah.
So when you go with a big game, you will need that squad depth.
Yeah.
And that is now where we need more backing. You know,
we need more backing.
Exactly.
Now, talking about backing, by the way, it's quite unfortunate that during Timber updates just came in, but he tore his ACL, and probably an ACL injury, man. That's
not good, man.
That's not good news.
Good for us.
It's not really looking good by the way. It's quite funny how, man, I don't know if it's the doctors who have it wrong, but these guys never got injured by the time was in Ajax.
Yeah.
Came in immediately, and I don't know why they continued him playing him by the second half. Because he showed signs by the way of being injured the first half. I mean, what are the doctors doing actually?
Because I even don't get it. You know, it's frustrating.
It's really frustrating by the way. It's really frustrating as fans.
When you have developed that faith, you know.
Yeah.
Timber was going to be a fan favorite.
Exactly.
Believe me on that. Timber was going to have even his own song.
Yeah.
You know. But then unfortunately, he's been injured. And now that leaves us short. We need someone who has that versatility of Timber, that physicality of Timber. You know, Timber, He's versatile. He can play
He
as
can
a
play
center
the
back.
center
He
back,
can play
can
as
play
a right back, as a left
play
back.
left
He
back
can
as well.
even play as a midfielder.
Yeah.
You know, that versatility is something we need.
Yeah.
And with him probably going to be out for a while, we need to sign someone else to take his place. You know,
Yeah.
we cannot play with Zinchenko. Zinchenko is very poor defensive wise. His work rate is good when it comes to inverting and going to the front, but then when it comes to defending and tracking back, Zinchenko is not really that guy.
But now that brings me to now tactics by then squad depth, because remember the different players have different capabilities. Like, you know, Zinchenko's strength by there is attack, but defense is very, very poor. So probably maybe that's the point whereby now a coach now needs to probably study the game, understand what kind of team is meeting, and know the right players by there to select for that particular game. So I think we are perfectly all right. I think by the Arsenal this season, if you just play our cards out right, I'm not bragging about this by the way, but if you've been watching football, or rather if you've been following football, actually even if you've been following the transfer updates, chances are by the we have no reasons by the not win the Premier League. Because in terms of squad depth we have, in terms of versatility with the players, we have all that.
The mentality at the club right now is very different. Everybody wants to win.
Yeah.
That is the kind of team you want. You know, when you have that young players hungry to win, we have everything.
We have everything at our disposal.
The pot is hot right now.
Yeah.
And if we don't capitalize on that, we might go down on a slump. And you know, when you go without winning something, players like Saka, they just be like, nah, I cannot believe in this project no more.
Exactly.
And you cannot afford to lose a player like Saka.
Man, don't even remind me by the way, because I'm telling you, if you're to lose a player like Saka, do you remind me more of like Van Persie, man.
Yeah, Van Persie, we did not build the project around Van Persie.
Exactly. Sami Nasri. Those are guys, you know, as much as by there, you know,
we might fault them for leaving.
But let me tell you one thing.
We never invested in their talents and their capabilities.
Because imagine these guys left and immediately by they won and won the Premier League.
We did not have any project at the moment. But right now we have a project.
Yeah. So you can't afford by they to lose players. You can't afford to lose a player like that.
We just have to win something this season, something major, not win an
definitely.
FA.
Yeah.
We need to win either the Champions League or the Premier League. If
you
cannot win that, we're going to lose some of these players.
Tell me, let me tell you, but let me tell you one thing, but what people don't realize, we the fans love the club more than even the players. What people forget that this is a business. These guys can leave anytime.
The players can leave anytime.
The players can leave. They have no attachment, but the way towards the way fans have attachment. So these guys can leave anytime. So man, if we don't win anything this season, then this project Arteta has,
this project is not a project anymore, because they've given him how many years? 3 years now.
Yeah, it's been 3 years, and look at the amount he spent. But in these 3 years, it's been a
good backing.
Yeah,
he just needs to get some little bit of more backing.
Yeah,
because of the injury issues. I feel like we might need a substitute for Timber, a centre back probably, but who is versatile.
Yeah,
and then we also need. We have got a backup goalkeeper, Raya is very good.
But he's on loan, right? He's on loan,
and he's on loan, and then there's a buy option.
Buy option of how much is 27 million.
Yeah. So Raya is a very good option for Ramsdale.
Yeah.
We need an option for Saliba, and then we need to offload some of these players like Nuno Tavares, Cedric.
You know, I'm even
are the people we need to move along.
Yeah, we like the thing is this: we need to we need to get rid of these players. All right, man. We came outside by the because we had power issues, but then we pick it up from here.
Welcome to Kenya.
Welcome to. Anyway, so listen, where are we? Let's talk about we're basically doing a weekend recap, right? And we've talked about Arsenal. We are talking about the top 4 teams by there that finished last season. So where are we? Let's talk about Newcastle by there. 5-1 versus Villa. Isak did his thing.
Man,
let me tell you one thing, Rich, man. People have been, Villa, looking at Newcastle by there, they've been quite silent by there, even during the preseason, even their transfers. Nobody, probably maybe it's because they don't really have a huge fan base,
in Africa,
especially here in Africa. But tell you what, man, that's a club that people need to watch out for. Remember we're actually recording by there when we were watching the game. I was watching the game partially, but man, the scores that kept on coming in. Newcastle is a team. That's a team to watch out for. But the Eddie Howe, man, he's been able to transform that team into something else. So it's a team that probably maybe guys would want to look into. And actually looking right now, Which team is topping the table right now?
It's Newcastle,
Newcastle,
by
of course.
goal difference.
By goal difference,
But
yeah?
It's just game week 1.
Well, it's just game week 1.
Mhm.
But I mean, did you watch the game or what did you make of it?
Well, I didn't watch the game,
Mhm.
let me be honest.
Yeah.
But I went and watched the highlights of the game.
Mm-hmm.
I watched some of a longer version of the game,
Yeah.
an extended highlight.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, the takeaway for me from that game is, if you need to win the Premier League, if you need to compete,
Mm-hmm.
you need to spend.
Yeah,
You know,
definitely.
Newcastle, after being bought out,
Yeah.
what happened with them? Look at their
Upward
performance
trajectory,
right
yeah.
now. They've been on an upward trajectory.
Yeah.
They signed Isak for, I think it was 70.
Mm-hmm.
Isak is phenomenal.
Hey man, that
He's
guy is
a player I can compare to Thierry Henry.
finisher. That guy is a finisher.
He's a
complete
finisher.
striker, yeah.
Last season he had a very wonderful assist.
Mm.
There's an assist he dribbled from the middle of the park
Mm-hmm.
along that left hand side,
Mm-hmm.
and then the assist was more beautiful than the goal. You know,
Yeah, yeah.
it just reminded me of Thierry Henry that time.
Yeah.
And then now, if you look at the signing that they had this summer,
Mm-hmm.
they signed Tonali from AC Milan.
Mm-hmm.
Tonali is a very good. Tonali was an AC Milan, as 23 years of age,
Yeah.
as a defensive midfielder.
Mm-hmm.
You know, someone who has that temperament of Gattuso.
Yeah.
You know, Gattuso is one of the legends in football.
Mm-hmm.
And Tonali was a good signing for them. He scored the first goal after 6 minutes.
Yeah.
And I believe Eddie Howe, the way he's setting up that team right now,
He's setting it up.
to win the league,
Yeah.
to go for the trophies that they're competing
Yeah.
in.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I believe Newcastle is a team that you cannot write off right now.
Yeah.
You cannot look down on them,
Mm-hmm.
because if you do that, they can beat Man City, they can beat Arsenal, they can
They're
beat.
capable of beating any team.
Yeah,
by the
they're
way. And
capable
they're
of beating
quite
any
a physical team, by the very physical team. So that's a team that people don't want to write off.
Mhm.
But anyway, let's go to the Liverpool versus
Chelsea game.
Chelsea game, man.
Yeah.
Man, it was quite an interesting game by the way to watch. You know, it just shows you what Pochettino has been able to do by that team by in a short period of time.
Mhm.
I mean, the guy came in just a couple of months ago, and the preseason they still don't have a sponsor yet, right?
Yeah, they don't have a shirt
They
sponsor.
don't have a shirt sponsor yet.
Mhm.
But looking at the way the team played this weekend, they actually had a very good game. You know, it was one of those games that I actually thought that Liverpool just going to have a walkover, in being there's still the transitional phase for a coach coming in and
Yes,
whatnot.
yes.
But man, they played well. Chelsea actually played very, very, very well. It's a team that probably maybe you can somehow say, but this season they probably might also be in the top 4. Not compete as of yet, but definitely they should be able to
fight
be
for
the top 4.
four.
Because even if you look at the spirit is back, they are playing, the aggressiveness, as opposed to last season. But then they had Lampard.
Yeah,
Guys, there was no. Chelsea was just, I mean,
they had Graham Potter.
they had Graham Potter. They had Graham Potter first. And
Then they sacked
they
him.
sacked him. Then
They
brought
brought
in Lampard.
Yeah.
Yeah, but looking at that, they played actually this weekend. They actually had a very good game.
But one thing I don't like about Chelsea is
Yeah.
they are spending a lot of money, and
Oh,
I don't
yeah.
understand why they are not being put on red alert for FFP.
Yeah, yeah.
Because if you look right now, they have signed Caicedo,
Mhm.
115 million.
Record signing.
Yeah, record signing.
Mhm.
They have signed. They want to sign Lavia for
Mhm.
50 million.
Mhm.
They signed Enzo Fernandez for 105 million.
Mhm.
The signings that they've had over the last 2 seasons
Yeah,
total up to around 700 million. They have the most expensive squad in the world right now
it's actually
in terms
800
of
by the way.
signing. Yeah,
It's actually 800 million.
which is not. I don't think it's fair.
It's fair. It's not fair.
financially.
It's not fair financially.
But
And,
then it's not upon us to call it. But I think the FIFA needs to call that and
Yeah,
be fair.
yeah. Same to Man City.
Yeah, same to Man City.
These guys need
Man
to be
City,
called
they
out.
have 115 charges against them,
Exactly,
which are
yeah.
being investigated.
Yeah,
And I think they might, if found guilty, some titles will
might be stripped
scrapped.
off. Yeah. But the thing is this, man. If you look at the Premier League right now, as time goes on, if people don't watch it for this, it might actually change to the Farmers League. Because as of now, man, it's more of like money that is making more sense. And you're actually very right. By looking at the way Chelsea's have been making the spend, have actually been spending the money. It's quite unfair, man. It's quite unfair. Remember, the Premier League is one of the best leagues, and they try and distribute money equally by there to this team, so that it becomes a competitive league.
Yeah.
But now if you have other teams now coming in and
spending 600,
yeah,
and then a team
you
like
expect them to
Burnley
exactly
does not even have a squad worth half the money.
No.
If you looked at the squad that played Man City versus Burnley,
yeah,
Burnley's squad worth was around 350 million.
yeah. So how do you
Man
expect
City
them to,
was around 1 billion.
yeah, how do you expect them to compete?
Hey,
You
how?
can't compete, man. These guys need to look into this.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's what under the bridge. Now let's move now to the game that was played yesterday. Man U
versus Wolves.
All right, man. So let's talk about the last game, but there for the week.
Game week 1.
Game week 1. That was actually the game that played yesterday. Man United versus Wolves. So it's quite an interesting game that they talk about, because even if you look at the videos, check out these videos over here. But they'll actually put up the links, but in the description. Yeah, put up the links in the description. Man, these guys, Man U fans are really deluded. These guys are really deluded. These guys actually, what I've come to realize,
They believe that they are they will be in the title race.
The problem with these guys, the problem a lot of Man U fans actually, most guys don't really understand football. Most guys actually don't watch even football. They just support Man U because of the vibes.
And they don't even look at football.
They don't even watch
holistically.
Exactly,
You find a fan who's yapping a lot, lakini holistically ukiongea tu game, mwanza kuanalyze hiyo game venye imechezwa. Ako zero.
Exactly. Because honestly speaking, but then now let's just speak facts. And a true Man United fan by there who's been supporting Man U by there for quite some time and actually watching football can definitely confess that the standards have really, really dropped.
Yeah.
And it's for lack of a better term, it's a bittersweet moment, in the sense that it's disappointing by the way to see such a big club go that direction. But these guys first of all need to accept the fact that they're no longer the big club anymore. They still have these guys still have the Ferguson
they
moment.
think it's fake era. They need to build a real project.
Exactly.
You cannot build a project around players like Diogo Dalot, someone like I think the Man U squad right now, there's a lot of challenges they have, especially at the front there.
Yeah.
You spend big money, you sign Anthony for it was like 70 million.
Yeah.
He's not performing.
He's not performing.
You cannot build your team around Martial as your center forward. Garnacho, Garnacho in yesterday's game. What was Garnacho doing in that game?
Nothing. Completely out of the game. Completely out of the game.
And then you cannot play Rashford as a center forward. I think Ten Hag should learn that.
Yeah.
Rashford is not a good center forward. Yeah. Rashford is a good left winger.
Exactly, he's a good left winger.
That is the difference that Rashford makes. Rashford is good when he plays at the wing, and then they need to buy a better striker. If I was the Glazers and I want Man U to contend for the title, I would have bought someone like this Napoli guy, Osimhen.
But how do you expect, man, the Glazers by them as to actually?
But they are not supporting
those
the
guys
club.
Are not really interested by they in the. They're not even interested in the football. It's just business. Those guys have actually messed up that club completely. Because I mean, when was the last time the stadium was actually renovated?
It's fucked up, because if you think about it, even Cristiano Ronaldo he talked
about these things by the way. Piers Morgan. Yeah, he talked about these things.
It is more systemic.
It's more systemic. Like. Let me tell you one thing, but people forget that this, as much as it's football, this is a business. This is a business.
Yeah.
It's just like a corporation, it's just like a corporate structure. There's the IT team, there's the operations team, there's the marketing team, there's the medical team. I feel like Man U is actually more focused on the marketing as opposed to the football be part of it, the operations be part of it. Because even if you look at the facilities there, man.
Old Trafford is a big stadium.
It's a big stadium, man. Yeah.
It was even leaking the other day.
Yeah, and it's ever raining by over there.
Yeah.
So the thing is this, with Man U, now looking at yesterday's game, now let me just put this, let me bring out this moment. There's a Man U fan was telling me, when you meet up with teams like Nottm, you're supposed to be taking that advantage and beating them like 7-0. And he actually was telling me, he was actually telling me that the reason why the Man U game was actually placed as the last game, they wanted to see, it was banter, yes, they wanted to see what other teams are doing, so that they come and show them that we are the Man U, we're going to beat these guys. Bro, these guys actually were very lucky. In fact,
actually, Wolves, if they capitalized on their chances, they signed a new player called Acuna. and that guy is so good, you know. He gave trouble. Manu in that game, they were not there.
First
Even
of all,
mwenye aliwafungia bao ni defender.
Look
bro.
at this, man. Look at this. Varane, actually, the guys who actually played that game very well, but those Varane, Onana,
Wan-Bissaka.
Wan-Bissaka. Those
Yeah.
are the guys who actually turned up for that game. But now, the thing is this: Ten Hag, by the way, if that's what he wants to compete with, but in the Premier League this season, I'm
Then
sorry,
they
probably even top four.
cannot contend.
Probably even top four, but they might not make it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So with Man U, man, humble yourself, okay?
Create a real project.
Create a real
manze.
project by the. Then
That's
now
not
let's
a
have a
project.
conversation by
Yeah.
the, because the way things are turning up right now, man, there's nothing.
I told me nimeambia watu wa Man U hivi.
Yeah.
For you to win the league again,
Uh-huh.
the last time you won was 2013.
Yeah.
It's 2023. It's 10 years. Another 10 years. Until you build a real project,
Exactly.
until you invest, you have invested. You know, that is the problem.
Yeah.
You think investing, it's not all about investing. It's about investing in a project. Look at Man City. Man City is not winning because they just invest.
Yeah.
They invest because they believe in the project. The same thing that is happening right now with Arteta is that the owners of the club
Invest
have
in the
believed in
project.
the project
Yeah.
and they're investing in the project.
Yeah.
Chelsea, they are investing, but they don't have a real project, and that is going to cause them problems
And that's
in the future.
Chelsea is actually going by the Man U way.
Exactly.
The direction they're taking that's the same direction by the we saw Man U make a couple of years ago, and that's the predicament they actually caught up in. So man, those are things they need to sort out. But anyway, man,
And then it comes down to you invest
yeah,
in a player 70 million.
yeah,
He comes and flops because you do not have a project.
exactly.
That is why Man U and Chelsea are like retirement homes. You sign someone a superstar, Anthony a superstar, you sign Pogba a superstar, anakuja na flop, and you move him along for free or for nothing.
Yeah, sometimes we had this conversation, but in the group, and you had this back and forth, and banter thing kind of going on in our WhatsApp group. I think you're there in the group as well with Ray.
Yeah.
I told these guys, man, yeah, club is it's been more like a graveyard.
Yeah.
It's been more like a
graveyard.
graveyard for killing talent. Look at all the best players: Pogba, Anthony, Maguire, Di Maria,
Falcao. You know,
Falcao.
That's a long time, lakini it still matters because the trend inaendelea tu hadi sahi.
Anyway, Rich man, it's good to have you. That's basically a weekend wrap up. It's a new segment, but they're introducing this channel. We'll be doing actually a weekend wrap up.
Yeah, we do a weekend recap.
Yeah. So this is episode 1. All right. So we'll be seeing you guys in the next episode. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, and we'll be seeing you on the next one.
Come on, you Gunners.